This is the Midland Home Service. We present The Song Carriers, the third programme in the series in which Ewan MacColl introduces the traditional songs of Great Britain and Ireland and those who sing them.
Mouth music. Portabale it is called in the Gaelic-speaking areas of Scotland, once used as music for dancing to on occasions when musical instruments were not available. These days it's generally used to show off a singer's skill in handling odd tunes and complicated verbal formations. Sometimes it's cast in the verse and nonsense chorus form, but more commonly the entire piece consists of nonsense lines. There was a time, not so long ago, when a similar kind of singing was current throughout the British Isles. That was Caroline Hughes, a 74-year-old gypsy queen who was recorded on a piece of waste ground near the Wareham Bypass in Poole, Dorset, 1964. She described how every Sunday afternoon, weather permitting, the women of the tribe would seat themselves in a circle and lilt tunes for the men, who would then dance inside the circle. Lilting performs a similar function among North of Ireland travelling people. Here is Paddy Doran, a Belfast traveller, lilting a tune called The Little Beggar. Lilting indeed is a popular form of vocal music throughout Ireland, though nowadays it's seldom used as an accompaniment for dancing. Its function is more to develop and demonstrate vocal skill and musical inventiveness. It's so popular that regional and national lilting competitions are held annually. Paddy Tunney of Donegal, one of the national champions. In lowland Scotland they call it diddling or dowdling, and there too it is the travelling people who are the great exponents of it. Just listen to Belle Stewart of New Alyth, Perthshire, diddling the Drunken Piper.
Oh, hadran and Tahari, Tahi, Hali, Harahum, Padaran, Tahari, Tahi, Tadi, Harahum, Hadran and Tahari, Tahi, Badari, Harahum, Hadarahari, and Tihio, Harahum, Badra, Dari heat and Tadi heat and Teo, Hadran Tahum, Jari, Hadran and Tahara, Tahi, Badara, Harahum, Hadran and Tahari, Radi, Badari, Hari, Hadran and Tahi, Badio, Harahum, Badra.
It's possible that Scots lilting of the type you have just heard is a debased form of cantarach, the name given to the older method of transmitting bagpipe tunes. Before pipe music was written down, pipers were expected to be able to sing all their tunes using an elaborate system of vocables. In this way it was possible to teach a tune to another piper with all the grace notes, flourishes, and other ornaments, while at the same time incorporating the breathing patterns which ultimately determine the pulse of the music. This oral method of transmitting the pipe music has almost disappeared. Just occasionally, here and there, you will find a man or woman who has preserved the old skill, Such a one is Mary Morrison of the island of Barra. Almost every musical tradition has its test pieces, and in a way, cantarach, lilting, diddling, and portebale are the test pieces of our oral tradition. In the course of mastering them, the singer develops vocal flexibility, masters the intricacies of diction and pronunciation, and at the same time assimilates breathing techniques. It is the test pieces involving specific aspects of expertise which guarantee stylistic continuity in a tradition. Without the cantarach, the diddling, the lilting, the Irish and Scots singing traditions would be a good deal more impoverished than they are. Because of them, we still have singers who, even in old age, can make music of extraordinary beauty and subtlety.
I got a fairing on a fair day from a handsome young man, and 20 bright kisses from my own darling Jan. Confuse them, consume them, till they say I'm not true. It's through the green hills and lofty mountains I roam with you. I am patiently waiting for my true love's return, for he is long absent, I need for to mourn. He's gone and has left me, I'm in grief for to tell, for the green hills and lofty mountains between us dwell. I wish I had a small boat on the ocean I'd row. I would follow my darling wherever he'd go. I would rather to have my true love to roam, sport and play, than all the golden treasures by land or sea. My love, he is far fairer than a bright summer's day. His breath is far sweeter than the new moon ray. His hair shines like gold when exposed to the sun. He is fairer than the blossoms early of the drying on down.
Maggie MacDonagh of Feenish Island, County Galway, singing an English language version of The Blackthorn. An old lady, but so skillful. Each line of the song is taken as a complete unit. Flower-type decorations, slides, sudden stops, grace notes and pauses are woven into the whole, and, to me anyway, the result is breathtakingly beautiful. I am reminded of a Chinese actor in the Pekin Opera handling a great yellow silk flag, making it ripple and glide and curl through the air like a living thing. The tune of the Blackthorn is, of course, a very handsome one, but this kind of traditional skill can often transform the dullest melody. The song which follows is a comparatively recent one. It tells of a young Irishman killed in a bombing raid on Birmingham during the Second World War. The tune is an extremely trite one, of the type common to pub tenors. Mary Reynolds of Mohill, Leitrim, succeeds in dignifying it enormously by making a structural variation in the middle of the first and third lines.
My darling sleeps in England across the Irish Sea, while I, who loved him dearly, shall mourn him bitterly, shall mourn him night and morning, and miss him from my side. For in the town of Birmingham my husband Danny died. The times came hard upon us, my children three and I. My husband rose one morning with a teardrop in his eye. He tied his poor belongings and kissed me tenderly, saying, "Fare you well, my loving wife, for I'll cross the Irish Sea." Each week from the English city a letter came to me, saying, "Darling wife, how do you fare? Likewise your children three. And when at night you're on your knees to say the rosary, remember then your loving Dan, who's across the Irish Sea." I wrote him back a letter and I said, "Darling Dan, young Palsh is now a sturdy child, and Tom is near a man, and Nora looks unto my eyes and whispers tenderly, God send my daddy safely back from across the Irish Sea." One evening I was at my work and a knock came to the door. My heart stood still, for I knew that some evil to me bore. And then the fatal tidings I heard most mournfully, that the cruel bombs had murdered Dan far across the Irish Sea.
Only occasionally can an old singer manage to preserve the vocal flexibility developed in early life. With advancing years, the breathing control becomes more difficult, so that the natural flow of a line has to be interrupted. Decorations are abandoned one by one until finally we are left with only the bare tune. But this too can have its own kind of beauty. Hannah Short is a 79-year-old miner's widow of Fatfield, County Durham, with a lifetime of hard work behind her. She says that she has difficulty in remembering the details of day-to-day events. Fortunately, she can remember perfectly the songs of her childhood and youth.
There is an hill whose down yon tune, where my love goes and sits him down, and takes a young girl on his knee. That is a grief to me. A grief, I'll tell you why. Because she has more gold than I, but her gold will come, her beauty blast. She'll become a poor girl like me at last. So all young maidens, take my advice, and never trust a soldier twice, as now he gans and he never calls in, because me apron is up to me chin. So now and now is the dirtiest rot, and the Ben will be a love begot. So if I did, it'll be a shame, as he'll never get his father's name. Then dig me a grave, dig it wide and deep, put marble stones at my head and feet, and at my head put a turtle dove, to let the world know I died in love.
But perhaps the greatest singer of the English tradition on record is Phil Tanner of Llangennith, Glamorgan. In his prime he must have been magnificent. Unfortunately, he was well on in years before he was recorded. These recordings, however, show us that he was a singer of great skill and extraordinary sensitivity. His last years were spent in an old people's home at Penmon, and there he recorded the Banks of Sweet Primroses. There's something profoundly moving in the sound of this old man's voice, singing of a young man going out in the springtime to search for love. It was one of the last songs he recorded before he died, and his breathing is such that he has constantly to interrupt the flow of melody. And there's no breath at all for the delicate decorations for which he was famed. He still, however, sings with great purity of tone, and the tune is carried without fault. What emerges most clearly, however, is the pure, burning passion of the great singer.
Oh, as I walked out one midsummer's morning, for to view the fields and the flowers so gay, 'twas there on the banks of the sweet primroses that I beheld a most pleasant maid. 'Twas there on the banks of the sweet primroses that I beheld a most pleasant maid. Oh, you said, fair maid, what make you wonder? What is the cause of all your grief? I will make you as happy as any lady, if you will grant me one small relief. I will make you as happy as any lady, if you will grant me one small relief. Stand up, young man, and don't be so deceitful, for 'tis you are the cause of all my pain. It is you that has caused my poor heart to wander, and to find me comfort it's all in vain. For 'tis you that has caused my poor heart to wander, and to find me comfort it's all in vain. I will go down to some lonely valley, where no man on earth there shall me find, where the pretty little small birds do change their voices, and every moment blow buzz so swell, where the pretty little small birds do change their voices, and every moment blow buzz so swell. So come all fair maidens by me take a warning, and pay attention to what I say. There is many a dark and a cloudy morning turns out a brighter, a sunshine day.
Phil Tanner is an inspiration and a model to many young revival singers who bring to his few recordings the same rapt attention that a literary scholar might bring to a first folio of Hamlet. Miss Frankie Armstrong is a social worker for the blind and one of a growing army of serious young singers. Like many of her contemporaries, she attempts to assimilate the stylistic features of traditional singing by spending a great deal of time listening to recordings of folk singers. She's extremely critical of herself, but believes that folk singing, like any other art form, can be learned if one has the will, the application, and above all, the knowledge that comes only through study.
As I walked out one midsummer's morning, for to view the fields and to take the air, down by the banks of the sweet primroses, there I beheld a most lovely fair. I said, fair maid, where can you be going? And what's the occasion of all your grief? I will make you as happy as any lady, if you will grant me one small relief. Stand off, you false deceiver. You're a false, deceitful man, 'tis plain. It is you what is causing my poor heart to wander, and to give me comfort is all in vain. So I'll go down to some lonesome valley, where no man on earth there shall me find, where the pretty little small birds do change their voices, and every moment blows blusterous wind. So come all young men who go a-courting, pray pay attention to what I say. There is many a dark and a cloudy morning turns out to be a sunshiny day.
I may have given the impression that the ability to decorate a tune is not only an indispensable feature of good folk singing, but must be used on all songs. Such an impression must be corrected. I do think that the most gifted singers of our tradition are capable of ornamenting a tune, but I also think that they know when to decorate and when not to. There are many songs where the melody is enhanced by being delivered in a thin, clear line without any ornamentation, in a voice stripped of harmonic overtones. If the melody is a sharp, angular one, then the singer may decide to emphasize this angularity by pitching up the voice, by adopting a hard, edgy tone, and by avoiding the type of decorations which would produce loops and curves in the tune. To a great extent, it depends on how he sees the tune in his mind's eye. He may see it as a series of fine lines arranged in geometrical patterns, in which case he is challenged to create a perfect balance between the voice and the silence round it. This involves making use of pauses, of short periods of silence, which in another type of song might well be filled with ornaments. Here is a singer who at her best knows how to bring out the clear line of a melody. She is Sheila MacGregor of New Alyth, Perthshire, a member of the numerous Stuart family of travellers, and she is singing Andrew Lammy, one of the great traditional ballads still popular in northeast Scotland.
At the mellow tefties lived a man in the neighbourhood of Ivy. For he had a lovely daughter fair, and they called her Bonnie Annie. Lord Fyvie had a trumpeter, whose name was Lammy, and he had the earth for to gain the heart the mellow tufties Annie. Lord Fyvie he rode by the door where lived tufties Annie, and his trumpeter rode him before, even the same Lammy. Her mother cried her to the door, saying, "Come here to me, my Annie. Dare you see a prettier man than the trumpeter of Fyvie?" "Oh, Nathan," she said, but sighing sair, "'twas a loss for Bonnie Annie, for she durstna own that her heart was won by the trumpeter of Fyvie." But at night when all went to their bed, slept soon but Annie. Love so pressed her tender breast, and love will waste her body. Now the first time me and my love met, it was in the woods of Fyvie, and he called me mistress. I said no, I'm just Tufty's Bonnie Annie. My love, I go to Edinburgh town, and for a while man leave thee. Oh, but I'll be deed afore ye come back in the green kirkyard o' Fyvie. Her feather struck her wondrous sore, and also did her mother, and her sisters also took their score, but woe be to her brother. Her brother struck her wondrous sore wi' cruel strokes and many, for he broke her back out of the temple stain, aye, the temple stain o' Fyvie. Oh, mother dear, please make my bed, and lay my face to Fyvie, for I will lie and I will die for my dear aunt